So micturition. First of all, defining micturition. Micturition is the process of voiding. Voiding means releasing. The process of voiding or expelling urine. Voiding or expelling urine out of the body. So if you expel the urine out of the body, that is called as micturition, to be simple. So basically from where the urine goes out, you all know we have a bag-like structure in our body which is called as urinary bladder. Yeah. So we have this urinary bladder which is a pyriform shape structure, or we can say the reverse spear shape structure. So urine will come and get stored in this urinary bladder. Okay, here we have some sphincters which are being closed. We'll discuss that one by one, don't worry. But the urine will be stored in this part, and when signals comes from the brain, so when the brain sends signals, in a textbook they said that they are voluntary signals. So in textbook they said that they are voluntary signals, but they are not. Actually, it's a combination of involuntary and voluntary, but we will keep your textbook part. Okay, so in textbook they said that the urine will be stored in the urinary bladder till we get the voluntary signals from the brain. So when you get the voluntary signals from brain, they'll open up and all the urine will go down, or all the urine will be expelled out by this micturition process. So there is a small issue with the textbook point here. Whatever they said, the voluntary thing, it's not voluntary actually. It's not voluntary. It is actually a combination of voluntary and involuntary things, right? So, but we'll go with the textbook. Anyway, so now discussing how this micturition happens, how these neural signals will come from the brain and all those things, we'll discuss one by one, right? So before understanding that part, we have to understand the anatomy of this urinary bladder. I'll not go in depth. I'll not go very in depth, but we'll just discuss what are the parts present here. What are the parts present? So we'll discuss that part. Okay. So right. So when you take this urinary bladder is composed of a special type of epithelium called as transitional epithelium. If you remember your structural organization lesson, so there is a special type of epithelium called as transitional epithelium. So we have the cells here. So assume these cells of urinary bladder, they are of what type? Which type of epithelium they are? Yeah, transitional epithelium. So they are actually transitional epithelium. So you know what is transitional epithelium? It will have several layers, 4 to 5 layers of different shapes of epithelium. It will be a combination of it will be a combination of squamous, cuboidal, columnar. Everything will be combined in this epithelium and matter. Okay. Now these transitional epithelium cells, they have some special property of stretch receptors. So they can receive these stretch signals. I mean, if there is any change in the volume of the bladder, they will receive those signals and they'll send the signals to brain. Okay, so these cells of this transitional epithelium will also act as what? Stretch receptors. Very important point. Baga gurtupettukondi. Now in this urinary bladder, we can also see smooth muscles. So I'm not drawing all the part, but this urinary bladder walls, the walls of the urinary bladder is made up of smooth muscles. Made up of what muscles, Nana? Smooth muscles. Okay, so now as I have said, when we have smooth muscles, what will come? Voluntary or involuntary? Involuntary, that's what I said. But textbook they said voluntary, but yeah, when you are having smooth muscles involved in a process, it will be starting with involuntary point anyway. But in your textbook they said voluntary. We'll keep it voluntary for this week's exam. Okay, but generally remember it's a combination of involuntary and voluntary parts. Okay, right. So these are what? These are smooth muscles. These are smooth muscles. There is name for them. They are called as detrusor muscles. Not that much important. And important kaadu, but you can just remember them. Detrusor muscles antam vatni. Right. So now comes the ureters. So ureters will join here. You know the ureters will come and join here. Join in the bladder's part. Now these ureters will start filling the bladder. For now, assume that the sphincters are closed, the internal sphincter and the external sphincter. So we have two sphincters actually. They have not been discussed. So I will discuss this. Just remember that part. So we have two sphincters, the internal sphincter and the external sphincter. Yeah. Yeah. External is voluntary. Yeah. Okay. So now urine comes and falls into this particular urinary bladder, and the urine starts filling up. The urine starts filling up. Now, actually, the capacity of urinary bladder is around 800 ml. The maximum capacity is around 800 ml, Nana. So, bladder's maximum capacity is around 800 ml. But still, once the volume of the urine reaches a level of around 500 ml, ఒక 500 ml level reach అవగానే ఏమవుతుందంటే these stretch receptors will become activated. That means the bladder will become stretched. Is it or not? If you put some liquid into any bag-like structure, they become stretched. Ante kada nana. So the urinary bladder will become stretched, a bit stretched. Okay. Then these become activated. The stretch receptors become activated, and these stretch receptors will send signals. So they have neural connections, and they will send signals to brain. So signals are sent to home. Signals are sent to brain. Okay. So brain, to counter this stretching part, to encounter the stretching, because if there is more stretching, that will be a problem, right? So to encounter the stretching part, the brain will send back the signals to two things actually. First, they will send the signals to this internal sphincter, which is not given in textbook, and they'll also send signals, motor signals, to these muscles. So we have two signals coming out from brain through the autonomous nervous system. What is this system? Autonomous. ANS, autonomous, which is not under our conscious control. Okay. So ANS nerves, which is actually, I mean, if you want the actual part also, it comes under parasympathetic nervous system. In ANS, we have parts, Nana. We have activating part and we have relaxing part. Activating is called as sympathetic. Yes. చెప్పుకున్నాం మనం ఇది. Did you get these points? ఎప్పుడు ఫ్రాగ్ లో అనుకుంటా. In frog we have discussed. Yeah, frog లో చెప్పుకున్నాం. Okay, humans also have the same thing, Nana. So we have the parasympathetic system, whose nerves will come down, and those nerves will first of all open this involuntary muscle, involuntary sphincter, which is not given in textbook. Second thing, it will also activate these smooth muscles. Okay, now what happens? Okay, so second thing, this smooth muscles, now because of the action from the brain, because of the impulse from the brain, motor impulse from the brain. Okay, which impulse is this? Motor means moving. Okay, so motor impulse from the brain, they will stretch, they will contract. Okay, these muscles will start contracting. That means, for example, if this is my bladder, the muscles will start contracting like this. The muscles will start pushing the urine down. Okay, they start pushing the urine down. But the point here is, this sphincter is still under our control. This sphincter is what? Voluntary. Avuna kada? This sphincter is voluntary. Now what happens because of stretching, because of these things contracting, what happens is, ఏమవుతుందంటే, they will stop the signals to this sphincter. అంటే nerve signals బ్లాక్ చేస్తాయి అన్నమాట. ఈ కాంట్రాక్షన్ వల్ల ఏమవుతాయి, సిగ్నల్స్ బ్లాక్ అయిపోతాయి. So once the signals is blocked, they both will open up. Already internal has been opened up, external we are holding it, మనం హోల్డ్ చేసుకున్నాము, అవునా? So when you get more signals from the brain, when these muscles will contract, which muscles? The smooth muscles will contract. Smooth muscles contract అయితే ఏమవుతుంది, ఇక్కడ సిగ్నల్స్ ఆగిపోతాయి. ఎక్స్టర్నల్ స్పెక్ట్రమ్ వచ్చే నర్వ్ సిగ్నల్స్ కూడా సింపుల్ యూ కెన్ సే సిగ్నల్స్ కట్ అయిపోతాయి. The signals coming to external sphincter will also cut off. Okay, so what happens? They will also open up and the urine is passed out of the body. right? So that's why I say it's a combination of voluntary and involuntary. But in your textbook, they said that it's the voluntary thing they said, but it's actually combination of voluntary and involuntary, Nana. Okay. And one more thing, these are the urine pass out. These are the urine comes out of our body. Okay. Now the point is one more interesting to be thing to be discussed here. When the urine is being passed out, you all know that this is a learned process. I mean, we can hold the urine for our, for our feasibility. Whenever we have the urge to go out, we will go, or else will not go. Is it or not? So we can hold this thing. But once this reflex is more, once the signals become more from this parasympathetic nervous system, then what happens? They will open up. They will open up and they will go out. Now this process of passing urine out is called as what? What do you call the process? Micturition. Micturition. And the neural mechanism involved. And the neural mechanism involved. All these things which I have discussed. The nerves, touch receptors, the sensory nerves. So which is going towards brain, what do you call them? Sensory nerves. Which is coming away from the brain, motor nerves. So the sensory nerves and motor nerves, all these reflex the neural mechanism or the neural pathway. The neural mechanism or the neural pathway involved here. The neural mechanism or the neural pathway involved here, that is called as micturition reflex. What do you call it? Micturition reflex. Reflex means what? Fast response. Reflex means what, Nana? Fast response. See, generally reflex actions are all involuntary. That's what I said. I don't know in the updated books it is voluntary or involuntary. Check this, Nana. Is it voluntary or involuntary in the updated books? Harshit, once check your textbook. Micturition kinda, under micturition heading first, second line unta chudandi. In the second line itself we have a part. Third line, fourth line. Evarna chudandi na NCERT books lo. Naadi paata book undi. I don't have new book. So check cheyandi voluntary icha involuntary chudandi okasari. Under the micturition I think third line lo fourth line undala point. So check cheyandi. Voluntary ichara. Okay. Okay. They are stored till the voluntary signals come out from brain. But actually అదేనా నా బ్రెయిన్ ఇంకా సిఎన్ఎస్ఏ కదరా బ్రెయిన్ సిఎన్ఎస్ఏ కదా బ్రెయిన్ దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ సెడ్ ఇట్స్ ఎ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ బోత్ సిఎన్ఎస్ అండ్ ఏఎన్ఎస్ ఇట్స్ ఎ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ బోత్ సిఎన్ఎస్ అండ్ ఏఎన్ఎస్ బట్ they have given only about the CNS. They have not discussed this part, parasympathetic part. Anyway, that's about the micturition in both ways. Okay, so in a textbook they said about only voluntary signals from the brain, sensory nerves, motor nerves, so this smooth muscles contraction, opening of sphincters. That's it. They have not discussed on these parts, parasympathetic and avasram ledu, but you just remember those points. Okay, right. Now the urine which is passed out have so much importance. I mean, the urine which is passed out can have the clinical significance. It can be used for diagnosis of several diseases, Nana. So the diseases inside our body, it can be used for that, the identification of diseases. First of all, we'll discuss the physical properties of urine. We'll see physical properties of urine. Then we'll see we'll discuss the clinical significance or diagnostic significance of the urine composition. Right? Okay. So now coming to the first one, physical properties of urine. Physical properties. So coming to physical properties, first thing, the urine will have light yellow color. The color will be light yellow because sometimes white, sometimes it depends on the it depends on the food we take. It depends on the food we take, Nana. For example, if we take lot of water ఎక్కువ తాగితే ఏమవుతుందంటే మనకి యూరోక్రోమ్ పిగ్మెంట్ రాదు మీకు. I mean, why this yellow color I'll tell you, then you'll understand. This yellow color is because of a pigment called as urochrome. Urochrome coming from a liver, bile juice లో bile pigments లో ఉంటుంది అనమాట. It's called as bile pigment. ఓకే, సో యూరోక్రోమ్ రావడం వల్ల మనకి ఆ ఎల్లో కలర్ వస్తుంది. బట్ పాయింట్ ఏంటంటే ఎక్కువ వాటర్ తాగితే ద పిగ్మెంట్ విల్ బి డిజాల్వ్డ్. ఐ మీన్ పిగ్మెంట్ విల్ బి డైల్యూటెడ్. ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ మోర్ వాటర్ ఇన్ యువర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్స్ ఏమవుతుంది, ద పిగ్మెంట్ విల్ బి డైల్యూటెడ్, సో విల్ నాట్ గెట్ ద ఎల్లో కలర్. అర్థమైందా పాయింట్? ఇది అదొక పాయింట్. అంటే ఇంకా మారుతుంటాయి అన్నది. కాంపోజిషన్ విల్ కీప్ ఆన్ చేంజింగ్. ఐ టెల్ యూ వన్ బై వన్. ఓకే, Next thing, the urine pH, it is acidic actually. So pH of urine is around 6. 6 is the pH of urine, which is, we can say, acidic, slightly acidic, slightly acidic. Okay, and per day we'll pass around 1 to 1.5 liters of urine. 1 to 1.5. In some books there is 1.8 also, Nana. In some books they also say that it will pass 1.6 to 1.8. So it depends, it will change. It will keep on changing. But just remember, we'll pass around from 1 to 1.5 liters per day. Per day. Okay. Now coming to the composition, we are having around 96% of water. దీంట్లో 96% వాటరే ఉంటుంది నాన్న. మనం వాట్ ఎవర్ వాటర్ వీ హ్యావ్ టేకెన్ ఆల్రెడీ, సో ఈవెన్ వీ హ్యావ్ టేకెన్ దట్ మచ్ వాటర్ ఫ్రమ్ ద urine, still we'll have 96% of water in the urine. Okay, and 2% will have urea. 2% maximum person will be having urea, and remaining 2% remaining wastes, all the organic and inorganic and all those things. That's not important. Okay, so when you come to urea per day, how much is going out? And it will be around 20 to 30 grams. I think they have given a textbook this value also. 20 to 30 grams per day. 25 to 30, yeah, 25 to 30 nana. It's 25 to 30 grams per day. Urea is passed out. This much urea is passed out per day from our body. Okay, now these are the physical properties. And one more thing, remember, the composition of urine will keep on changing according to your diet. For example, if you take more proteins, right, the urea will be more, because in liver the proteins are converted to urea. Proteins నుంచి అమోనియా వస్తుంది, అమోనియా నుంచి యూరియా వస్తుంది. యూరియా సైకిల్ గుర్తుందా మీకు? యూరియా సైకిల్ ఐ సెడ్ ఇన్ ద లివర్. సో యూరియా సైకిల్ జరిగి యూరియా ఎక్కువ బయటకు వస్తుంది ప్రోటీన్స్ ఎక్కువ తీసుకుంటే. ఒకవేళ యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ఫుడ్ ఫర్ లాంగ్ టైమ్, then also composition will change. I'll tell you how it happens. But urine test has more importance in the clinical significance of identifying some diseases. కొన్ని డిసీజ్ కనుక్కోవడానికి యూరిన్ టెస్ట్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనమాట. ఎలాంటివో కొన్ని చెప్తా చూడండి. I'll tell you about one disease. Yeah, diabetes is the most important part. యాక్చువల్ చెప్పాలంటే diabetes is the most important part. Okay, na? So basically, if I have to say, if you are trying to find out about diabetes mellitus, not insipidus nana. Diabetes insipidus is that one. Diuresis గుర్తుందని చెప్పుకున్నాం మనము. Do you remember diuresis? ADH లేకపోతే we pass dilute urine. గుర్తుందా పాయింట్ ఇది? నిన్న చెప్పుకున్నాం. That is diuresis, that is diabetes insipidus. But we are discussing diabetes mellitus. Okay, in the sugar, insulin, in the absence of insulin hormone. This diabetes mellitus is because of absence of which hormone? Insulin hormone. Blood glucose levels increases. Blood glucose పెరిగిపోతుంది అన్నమాట. So because of this, what happens? If you take for urine test for these people, I mean for the diabetic people, you can find that some glucose molecules in the urine. Actually glucose molecules రాకూడదు urine లో. గుర్తుందా? In the PCT almost all the glucose is absorbed. You should not get the glucose molecules. So if you observe glucose presence in the urine, that is called as glucosuria. అన్న ఇక్కడ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, యూరియా అంటే యూరిన్ అక్కడ, నాట్ ఈఏ, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఐఏ, యూరియా. గ్లూకోజూరియా ఆర్ సమ్ బుక్స్ దే ఆల్సో కాల్డ్ యాస్ గ్లైకోజూరియా. కొన్ని బుక్స్ లో గ్లైకోజూరియా ఉంటుంది, కొన్ని బుక్స్ లో గ్లూకోజూరియా ఉంటుంది. ఎలా పిలుచుకోవచ్చు. ఇన్ యువర్ నీట్ NCERT book, I think they have given glycosuria only. So glycosuria, that means presence of glucose in the urine. Because మనకి గ్లూకోజ్ బ్లడ్ లో ఉండిపోతుంది నాన్న, మీకు గుర్తుందా? దిస్ డిసీజ్ is what? Blood glucose levels is more. Glucose is not going to cells. So in the glomerulus part, what happens? The nephron will absorb more glucose also, and glucose is not going back because there is more glucose. Glucose is not going back. అర్థమైందా? See, it depends on the concentration gradient nana. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, this PCT, assume this as a PCT. Okay, Glucose has to go from PCT into the interstitium. Ante kada. But you have to remember one more point, it goes from high concentration to low concentration. ఈ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ డిఫరెన్స్ వాళ్ళు ఖచ్చితంగా we should have the concentration gradient. But your blood is having more glucose and ఇక్కడ గ్లూకోజ్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది ఆల్రెడీ గ్లూకోజ్ ఉంటుంది. You are not using this glucose in your blood. So what happens? This glucose cannot go in. This glucose cannot go into your body. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? This will come out in the urine. It will come out in the urine. Urine లో వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకేనా? సో ఇది ఒక పాయింట్ అండి. This is one point. Okay. And now coming to next thing. Second thing, you can also find ketone bodies in the urine. Same condition. Diabetes mellitus ఉండే వాళ్ళకి you can also find ketone bodies. అంటే it's a chemical, it's a biochemical. Ketones అంటాము. Ketones are a type of chemical. Okay na. So this condition is called as ketosuria. What do you call this condition? Ketosuria. So you can understand this point. So if in the urine, if I'm able to find glucose molecules and if I'm able to find ketone molecules, that means that person is having diabetes mellitus. So nu vere test cheyalsina avasaram ledhu nanna. This is the diagnosis. You can find it at this point. So you can go for deeper tests. ఇది ప్రిమిటివ్ టెస్ట్ అనమాట, ప్రిలిమినరీ టెస్ట్ అనమాట. షుగర్ ఉందా తెలుసుకోవాలంటే యూ కెన్ గో ఫర్ యూరిన్ టెస్ట్. ఓకేనా? సో ఎందుకు ఇప్పుడు యూరిన్ టెస్ట్ అనేది ఏమైంది మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ ఈస్ హావింగ్ డయాబెటిస్ మెలిటస్ యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ మోర్ గ్లూకోజ్ ఇన్ ద యూరిన్, యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ మోర్ కీటోన్ బాడీస్ ఇన్ ద యూరిన్. సో నౌ ద డౌట్ ఈస్ ఓకే సార్ గ్లూకోజ్ అంటే ఇక్కడ పోట్లాట వచ్చింది, మరి కీటోన్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది సార్? జనరల్గా నాన్న ఇఫ్ ద సెల్స్ డోంట్ గెట్ గ్లూకోజ్, అంతే కదా, ఇక్కడ గ్లూకోజ్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది? బ్లడ్ లో ఉంది. అండ్ సెల్స్ ఈజ్ నాట్ గెటింగ్ గ్లూకోజ్. ఇది సెల్ అనుకోండి, సెల్ ఈజ్ నాట్ హ్యావింగ్ ద గ్లూకోజ్. సో సెల్స్ ఏం చేస్తాయి? సెల్స్ విల్ యూజ్ ద ఫ్యాట్స్. అంతే కదా నాన్న. సెకండ్ సోర్స్ ఏంది? ఇఫ్ దర్ ఇస్ ఆబ్సెన్స్ ఆఫ్ గ్లూకోజ్, ఇఫ్ ద గ్లూకోజ్ ఈజ్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు సెల్స్, దే హ్యావ్ టు యూజ్ ద ఫ్యాట్స్. సో ఫ్యాట్స్ మెటబాలిజం జరిగితే, ఇఫ్ ద ఫ్యాట్ మెటబాలిజం హ్యాపెన్స్, దెన్ దే రిలీజ్ ketones. ఫ్యాట్స్ రిలీజ్ వాట్? ketones. దాట్స్ వై ketosuria. అర్థమైందా? Okay. Now anybody guess at what condition I may get only ketosuria? At what condition I may get only ketosuria? No disease, but నేను ఏ కండిషన్ లో ఉంటే నాకు ketosuria వస్తుంది. At what condition I will get only ketosuria? Anybody guess? At what condition? Starvation. So when you will not have the glucose in your body, when you don't eat, అంతే కదా. డయాబెటీస్ పక్కన పెట్టు, యూ లీవ్ డయాబెటీస్ ఆఫ్టర్వర్డ్స్, వాళ్ళు చూసుకుందాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీకు నీట్ లో క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది. నీట్ దే లాస్ట్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్ అన్న. ఎ పర్సన్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ దిస్, దాన్ని ఏమంటారు, హంగర్ స్ట్రైక్. ఎ పర్సన్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ హంగర్ స్ట్రైక్ అంటాం. అతను నిరాహార దీక్ష చేస్తున్నాడు రా, హంగర్ స్ట్రైక్ చేస్తున్నాడు. సో to get more holidays or to get more marks or something like that, he is doing hunger strike. Okay na? So hunger strike చేస్తే ఏమైంది మనకి? He is not supplying glucose to his body. అంతేనా? He is not eating, he is not supplying glucose to his body. What will his body do? His body will use fats. And metabolism of fats will give you energy, obviously. It will also give you what? Ketones. Now these ketones will come down as in the urine. Now what do you call this condition? Ketosuria. అర్థమైందా? సో డయాబెటీస్ mellitus లో వస్తుంది. డయాబెటీస్ mellitus is a combination of glycosuria and ketosuria. But if you don't eat or if you are having starvation, then also you will get only ketosuria, not glycosuria. Glycosuria is the indication of your insulin hormone is not working properly. యూరిన్ లో గ్లూకోజ్ అర్థం ఏంటంటే మీ ఇన్సులిన్ సరిగ్గా పనిచేయాలని అర్థం నాన్న. But ketosuria is indication of many things. If you are only having ketosuria, it may be because you are not eating proper glucose food. It may be you are not eating food at all. It may be because you are eating more amounts of protein food. Medicine, no, you have to inject insulin ante. Insulin hormone బయట ఇంజెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలి. లేదా you have to prepare, you have to in the వేరే animals తీసుకుంటాం నాన్న, we extract from animals. See, primitive stages లో pancreas కి మెడిసిన్స్ వేస్తారు నాన్న. ప్రిమిటివ్ స్టేజెస్ లో ప్యాంక్రియాస్ కి మెడిసిన్స్ వేస్తారనమాట. అలా లేకపోతే ఇన్ ద హైయర్ స్టేజెస్ దే విల్ గో ఫర్ ద ఇన్సులిన్ ఇంజెక్షన్స్. ఇంకో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పుకుందాం రా, యూరిన్ డయాగ్నోసిస్ చెప్పుకుందాము. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ హ్యావ్ హెమటూరియా అనుకుందాం. కెన్ యూ గెస్ వాట్ ఈస్ హెమటూరియా? హెమటూరియా, కెన్ యూ గెస్ వాట్ ఈస్ హెమటూరియా? బాగా గెస్ చేయండి. హెమటో అంటే అర్థమైందన్న? ప్రీవియస్ వర్డ్స్ గుర్తు తెచ్చుకోండి. హెమటో అది హెపాటిక్ డక్ట్, అది బ్లడ్ నాన్న. హెమటో అంటే బ్లడ్, హెమటాలజీ. హెమటాలజీ మీన్స్ స్టడీ ఆఫ్ బ్లడ్. సో బ్లడ్ ఇన్ ద యూరిన్, blood in the urine, okay, now it indicates what? Damage of your urinary system. Maybe there may be some damage in your ureters or bladder or urethra or kidneys. ఇలాంటి ఏరియాస్లో ఎక్కడ నీకు ఎక్కువ డ్యామేజ్ జరిగితే, కిడ్నీ స్టోన్స్ ఫామ్ ఐడియా ఉందా? స్టోన్స్ ఫామ్ ఏమవుతుందంటే ఒక్కోసారి రప్చర్ జరిగి బ్లడ్ మే కమ్ అవుట్ అలాంగ్ విత్ యూరిన్. దాన్ని ఏమంటారు? హెమటూరియా అంటాం. హెమటూరియా ఇండికేట్స్ సమ్ యూరినరీ ట్రాక్ట్ డిఫెక్ట్స్. No, not. I'll tell you. చెప్తాను నీకు. Okay. So hematuria indicates what, Nana? Urinary tract defects. అంటే there are some problems in your urinary tract. Maybe ureter or urinary bladder or urethra, or we can say kidneys. So ఇక్కడ మీకు ఏదంటే బ్లడ్ వెజల్స్ రప్చర్ అయిపోయి the blood is coming along with the urine. So ఇలాగా urine tests have so much clinical significance in diagnosis of diseases, Nana. Disease diagnosis లో దీస్ హ్యావింగ్ సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ క్లినికల్ సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్. అది ఇంపార్టెన్స్ యూరిన్ది. అర్థమైంది పాయింట్స్ ఇవి. సో బై యూరిన్ టెస్ట్ యూ కెన్ ఫైండ్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఫ్యూ ఆఫ్ ద డిసీజెస్, నాట్ ఆల్ బట్ ఫ్యూ ఆఫ్ ద డిసీజెస్, రైట్? దాట్స్ అబౌట్ ద యూరిన్ micturition process and the thing. In your textbook they have given only about diabetes mellitus. So in diabetes mellitus, what conditions will face, Nana, in the urine? What conditions will face in diabetes mellitus? Two conditions. What are they? Glycosuria and ketosuria. So in these two conditions are present in the urine. Ketonuria is ketosuria actually. Adi ketonuria. He has used one more word. So we'll go with the textbook, Nana. So we'll go with the textbook. One is glycosuria, ketonuria. We'll go with the textbook. కొన్ని దగ్గర వాడుతుంటారు. We'll go with the textbook. Use these words: glycosuria and ketonuria. Okay, so glycosuria and ketonuria both will indicate what? Diabetes mellitus. బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టు. mellitus, I'm sorry, diabetes mellitus, 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 diabetes mellitus. చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ఓకే, now coming, that's about the conclusion of this week's syllabus. In the next Monday we'll discuss the remaining parts of excretory system, but here